Welcome to Echo Africa, the environment program brought to you from Nigeria, Uganda, and Germany. As always, we'll be taking a look at some of the ideas out there for protecting the environment, both in Europe and in Africa. I'm Chris Lems in Lagos, Nigeria. But first of all, a warm welcome to my co-host, Sandra.
Hi Chris, hello everybody. I am Sandra Twinobio here in Kampala, Uganda. And yes, we have a lot in store for you. So do stay tuned and enjoy the show. Here's a quick preview of what is coming up shortly. Simple but smart. We see how a fence in Kenya is protecting both elephants and the forest. We meet an artist in Ghana who is breathing new life into glass recycling. And thinking big, how young entrepreneurs here in Uganda are turning their ideas into reality. Flowers floating on water are a lovely sight, but aquatic plants can be something of a pest when they turn up in the wrong places. We've had a few reports on the trouble water hyacinths have caused to some communities. Now on Lake Osa in Cameroon, local residents and conservationists are battling with another invasive species that is causing a host of problems there.
Paddling through Lake Osa has become more of a struggle since the Salvinia plant altered its ecosystem, says Richard Ngole, a fisherman who grew up in a small community on the shores of the lake. The fast-growing weed blocks sunlight and depletes oxygen from the water, suffocating aquatic life.
The Salvinia is giving us a lot of trouble. It has affected my fishing activity. In the past, when I went out to fish, I would have a good catch for me and my family. But now it's become really hard.
This morning, a group of local residents from Dizangwe have come together to clear the invasive plant from the main entrance to the lake. The villagers are worried it will spread to other sections that have not yet been affected. Lake Osa is Cameroon's largest natural lake with a total surface area of nearly 40 square kilometers. But it's now infested with water moss, or Salvinia. Nearly 40% of its surface is covered. As it proliferates, the plant also threatens the locals' livelihoods. A local marine mammal conservation organization, AMCO, regularly organizes the cleanups. For 5 years now, the team has been striving hard to protect the lake from the aggressive weed. To find a more efficient solution, Aristide Takukam has set up a research site in the village. He wants to find out if they can use a biological weapon to destroy the water moss on a large scale. This small bug feeds on Salvinia. Tests from last year showed that it can completely eliminate plant cover in a matter of months. AMCO is already negotiating its deployment with the Cameroon government. But there have been concerns in the community due to fears the bug would also eat their crops.
The biological control using the Salvinia weevil has been used in many countries around the world, including in 15 countries in Africa. And the best example is that of Senegal. They were able to get rid of their Salvinia within a year using the biological control. And the way this weevil works is that it feeds specifically on the Salvinia. And what happened after they're done eating Salvinia? They just died because they have nothing else to eat.
Twice a month, the researcher makes the trip from Cameroon's capital, Yaoundé, to work at the lake, accompanied by colleagues and students. AMCO also collects data on the African manatee, the least studied large mammal in Africa. They are shy by nature and active at night, so sightings are rare. In order to detect the creature's location and movements, Takukam uses specialist equipment, including an eco-sonar. The information gained is critical for the conservation of the graceful animals.
So the reason my team and I are working so hard is because we want to save the African manatee, which is being threatened by poaching, which is illegal hunting of this species, and they're also threatened by accidental capture in fishing net. the population overall is decreasing, and even especially here in Lake Osa, where the threat of Salvinia has combined to the hunting, making the population to even decrease faster.
The conservation group regularly sends out volunteers to speak to the local community. The purpose is to inform villagers about the importance of protecting the lake and all its natural resources, including the manatees. They too are struggling to survive.
When a manatee gets caught in the net, it eats up all the fish, even if it's 100. The problem is due to the fact that manatees don't have access to enough seagrass. It's choked out by the Salvinia, so they eat fish.
Many of these community members have lost their source of income because of Salvinia. Local fishermen have plenty of incentive to do all they can to remove the alien plant and prevent its spread. And they hope that Aristide Takukam and his team will soon get the go-ahead to introduce the tiny bug that will save the lake by devouring its pesky surface cover.
We can't wait to get the whole gang together. But until then, let's stay safe.
For as little as 20 Namibian dollars per month, you can get a funeral cover from Sanlam with claims that get paid out within 7 hours. To get a quote or for more information, simply SMS your name, town, and contact number to 555 for a callback. No obligations. T's and C's and standard SMS rates apply.
What an interesting project. We now head to Kenya to pay a visit to some relatives of the manatee, the elephants. Look it up if you don't believe me. Elephants are amazing creatures, but many farmers find them difficult to live with because they trample on crops and can even destroy entire forests. But the community around the Eburu forest has found a way to scare off the large animals without doing them harm. Let's take a look.
Here, elephants and other wildlife roam free without posing a threat to farmers and their livestock living nearby. That's because they are separated by an electric fence. Joseph Mutongu works for Rhino Ark, a conservation NGO. He manages the fence and oversaw its construction. It's solar-powered and has proved to be very reliable. It cordons off sections of Eburu forest in the Great Rift Valley.
We did about 43.3 kilometers, and it's done now. And now the work we are doing now is to maintain now the fence itself, and also to do the sensitization to the community so that they can be able to own it.
Maseto Kusen is a forest beekeeper, one of many here. They belong to the Ogiek community, which has practiced beekeeping for hundreds of years. The bees are kept in traditional wooden hives, and the honey is extracted by hand. Beekeeping is still allowed in the forest. Chopping down trees and hunting are not. We took care of wild animals in the same way the Maasai look after their cattle, or other communities tend to their livestock or crops. So we lived off honey and bushmeat and lived here in the knowledge that this was like our farm. In order to protect the forest, the indigenous community has been given land and access to water outside it. Joseph Kariuki has now turned to Tamarillo farming. We don't depend on the seasons anymore. It used to be the case that at this time of the year you wouldn't see any greenery here. The ground would be parched. That is one of the biggest changes I can attest to. Now it's green everywhere. The environment has really changed. The fences also protect key areas of forest where rainfall feeds Kenya's rivers. The project, which receives support from government agencies, charitable foundations and the corporate sector, has proved a great success, and now areas of mountain woodland in other parts of the country are being fenced as well.
I normally feel so happy to see such a noble forest being spared for the animals and for environment. So, and I'm quite happy to see such an electric fence set up to protect these animals from going outside to the community.
And that in turn has protected the community from damage caused by wandering wildlife. Here, fences are giving the forests, the animals living here, and the nearby communities the freedom to flourish.
We now turn to an ancient art form still practiced today, glass blowing. After learning the technique in Europe, an artist in Ghana now creates all sorts of beautiful things in his workshop.
That's right, Sandra. And since there is no professional glass recycling as such in Ghana, he found a way of clearing up some of the waste by turning it into other useful objects. Here is this week's Doing Your Bit.
It's about 1,800 degrees Celsius here. Very, very hot.
The materials used to make this glowing molten blob came from the garbage.
You can see in Ghana now that glasses are being thrown everywhere. Any corner at all you go, there's a glass.
Ghana doesn't have a formal system for collecting and recycling waste glass, so a lot ends up in landfills. The only certified glass blower in West Africa, Michael Tete works exclusively with recycled glass. His craft requires a lot of patience and experience.
Every time you blow a little bit of air, not too much, you push it, then it's coming. If you blow it too much, it will explode.
Numerous steps are required to complete each unique object, which Tete makes in a wide variety of colours, patterns, shapes and sizes. His eye-catching creations are sold in a gallery for around €11 each.
His pieces are tailor-made. You can give him any design, any specification, and he will make it and the color for you. Also, his products are eco-friendly, and we like the fact that he's turning waste into usable artifacts.
And to ensure that sustainable glass blowing has a future in Ghana, Michael Tete also teaches this traditional craft to young people in his workshop, passing on his sustainable methods to the next generation of artists.
And how about you? If you're also doing your bit, tell us about it. Visit our website or send us a tweet. #DoingYourBit. We share your stories.
Pretty much the world over, bees are known to be industrious creatures. In English, we even use the term busy bees. But like many other insects, they are under threats. Our next report takes us to a remote region of Kosovo in southern Europe. There, conservationists are working to protect a unique natural habitat, one where the important pollinators play a key role.
It's usually men who wear this kind of outfit in Kosovo. There are hardly any female beekeepers in the country. Shqipe Shala is one of them. The beekeeping season might be over, but she still checks on her charges regularly. An electric fence protects her hives from the bears that still roam this area near Prizren, Kosovo's second largest city. The Shar Mountains National Park, just to the south, is a refuge for Balkan lynx. This species of wild cat is critically endangered. There are only a few dozen of them left. Shqipe Shala has 150 beehives. She is the boss and her husband works for her. That's quite an unusual setup, but it works for them.
We like to do things systematically. I start from one end. My husband starts from the other. We like to compete. It's kind of a game to see who can check more beehives.
Today, it looks like a tie. Once the inspections are done, Shala takes care to extinguish the coal in her smoker, which is used to calm the bees. A forest fire could have disastrous consequences. She doesn't have any trouble finding buyers for her organic honey. It sells for twice the price of the honey sold at street-side markets. Beekeeping, sheep breeding and cheese making are an important part of the economy in Kosovo, the youngest and smallest nation in the Balkans. Shala went abroad to study organic farming methods. Nowadays, environmental activists come to see her to learn how she applies organic methods to beekeeping. The aim is to raise awareness across Kosovo of eco-friendly farming practices.
I attended a workshop in Germany. I learned a lot about animal welfare, which nobody here knows anything about. I'm now giving courses to pass on this knowledge. I hope people will come to realize we have to protect nature, and that includes bees. They are so important for the environment.
Nature conservation can be an uphill battle. In Kosovo and neighboring Albania, hydropower plants are still widely considered an eco-friendly way to generate electricity. But building more of them, alongside illegal timber felling, would further shrink the habitats of endangered species, such as bears, lynx and wolves. Shippa Shala says most of the people don't realize what is going on. They're just not aware of the issues. But she wants to change that.
We have to pay more attention to our natural environment, especially in the national park. This also affects my business. If forest clearance and everything that goes along with it is allowed to go on, I will eventually lose my bees.
Kosovo gained independence in 2008. It's only natural, she says, that it will take a while for such a young country to sort things out. Shippa Shala, for one, remains optimistic.
Through strength and commitment, we learn a lot from our characters. That's what makes our local stories relatable to our people.
After all, it's our story. For the best of your original dramas, telenovelas and sports, get your GOtv decoder, GoTenna and a month of GOtv Plus from as little as $349. Download my GOtv app to easily manage your account on the go. GOtv, love it.
Back to Africa now to meet a man here in Nigeria who believes that farming should be both sustainable and profitable. Samson Ogbole has declared war on the concept of subsistence farming, where farmers plant a small plot of land and just about make ends meet. A few years ago, he launched a training campaign aimed at revolutionizing small-scale farming with hydroponic agriculture.
Samson Ogbole sees agribusiness as the root of sustainable development and job creation. The head trainer at Farm Lab in Ogun State, southwestern Nigeria, believes agriculture must be business-minded, technology-driven, and climate-smart. The 38-year-old is also keen to pass on his knowledge to others.
Always remember, if you practice agriculture, you will be poor. Practice agribusiness, you're on the road to wealth. So, what is agriculture? Agriculture is that thing our grandfather did. And as a student, you should ask yourself, how rich was your grandpa? How rich are the pure normal farmers that you know? If they are not wealthy, how can a poor system make you rich? Come in, let's come in.
Over the past 7 years, Ogbole has trained over 10,000 young Nigerians. For him, agriculture is no way to make a quick buck and requires a hands-on approach.
And a lot of people reach out and I realize not everybody has the amount to pay for training. Now, you don't want people to go into agriculture without being properly trained. If not, they would waste money, waste time, waste resources. So I figured, fine, I am setting up more farms. What if I gave people the opportunity to work and learn at the same time? So instead of looking for money to pay for your lesson fee, for your learning fee and all of that, you come and learn for free and actually set up a farm.
Farmers like Gloria Oyalami hope to scale up their agribusiness using the hydroponic method. This uses water rich in nutrients instead of soil. This makes planting and harvesting possible regardless of season.
I'm looking forward to venture into a greenhouse. Why? Because it's less strenuous. And two, you are able to predict almost accurately, not accurately, but almost accurately what your output will be, your income, or your financial analysis.
Students built this growing patch. During a one-week program, they learn how to set up a soilless aeroponic farm. Nutrient-laden mist nourishes the plants, which makes maximum use of area and fertilizer.
Soilless farming happens to be a principle farming. If you follow the principle, you can apply it to any plants you want to develop on your farm. So for the trough system, you map out where you want to set up the trough for the plant, and you always create a pathway for workers to pass through for harvesting.
Samson Ogbole and his Farm Lab team are convinced soilless farming could be a blueprint for sub-Saharan African countries to feed themselves sustainably and profitably. With the number of students increasing daily, Ogbole plans to grow his training program across Nigeria.
Whoa, amazing what they're doing. Our next report is also about training young people. This time in Uganda, not far from where you are, Sandra, in Kampala. What's going on there?
Well, the program is meant to show how business opportunities and jobs can be created while at the same time protecting our planet and its resources. We visited a learning hub that encourages young people to turn their visions into reality, and we met some pretty inspiring entrepreneurs.
Our house collapsed. My only beloved grandmother died from the injuries she suffered. So I turned my painful past into a motivation. I never knew that what I'm doing would turn this big to me and to the environment.
I felt unloved, I felt discriminated because of my often falling sick from malaria. I am now part of the solution in my country.
Two people, each with a vision. Joan Nalwega produces soap with a scent that repels mosquitoes. According to the UN, every 2 minutes a child under the age of 5 dies of malaria.
Even if I'm not saving all the kids that are suffering right now, I am at least saving the ones that I can.
John Mary Kavuma is a founder and director of the green business Upcycle Africa, which builds houses out of recycled plastic bottles. Kavuma and Nalwega are graduates of the Social Innovation Academy, or SINA for short. It's located in the town of Mpigi, about 30 kilometers south of Uganda's capital, Kampala. Here, young people, including orphans and street kids, learn how to develop their ideas into successful businesses. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, only a few students are currently able to attend classes on campus.
Especially in Uganda, people are not prepared to work together, to present themselves, to ask critical questions, to find their own solutions, their own answers. And we are learning that in SINA, and that's why often not everybody will become an entrepreneur, but many of our scholars as well that have been in SINA have found jobs.
One of the solutions led us to Kampala, where plastic waste is a huge problem. 350,000 tons of trash accumulate in the Ugandan capital every year, and only half of it is disposed of. Much of the plastic lands on this trash dump. Recycling isn't common here. John Mary Kavama pays young trash collectors to gather bottles that he can use to build houses.
Every time I come here and I do give some money to other people to do, for example, recycling or keeping our environment clean, it gives me a lot of hope that even the future generation will inherit a healthy planet that we have done or we have protected from plastic waste.
Earth is pressed into plastic bottles to make bricks. Many women work for Kavama's business, giving them the chance to earn their own money. Kavama says the houses are cool inside even on hot days. His business has already constructed more than 100 buildings using over 3 million plastic bottles in the process. Due to the coronavirus pandemic, commissions have slowed, but there is funding coming in from abroad.
We are revising different solutions on the way we can be able to survive as a company. However, we also got some people who came along to support us. For example, we got some funding from IKEA and Achumen that decided to support us, especially in the era of COVID-19.
Joan Nalwega has brought a few bars of soap to one of the women who supply her with lemongrass, a key ingredient in her product. Before the COVID-19 crisis, Nalwega charged tourists and hotels for her soap. But now that there are hardly any tourists, she has expanded her business online.
I have a vision to make my country a better place. I have a vision to make Africa, instead of running away from it, to make it a better place.
If my grandmother happened to see me now, I know she'll be proud of me.
I'm sure she would. It is good to be reminded that looking after the environment usually pays off. Well, that's all we had for you today. Thank you all for joining us. So long from me, Sandra Twinoblio, here in Kampala. Until next time.
Bye for now, Sandra. As always, it was a pleasure hosting the show with you. And to our viewers out there, remember, you can find out more about environmental protection and sustainability on our social media platforms. I am Chris Ilem, signing off from Lagos. See you again next week.
In a time of uncertainty, false news, and fear, learn on. While the world scrambles to make new sense, while the experts turn around in circles, trying to find their way back to tomorrow. Learn on. When classrooms become empty cathedrals and the trees start to bear answers, learn on. Learn on until every parent is a teacher and every teacher is a mentor. Learn on until you cross the boundaries of your mind, until you grow eyes and sprout wings. My friend, learn on. On sidewalks, on the floor, at the neighbors, in the market, in hallways, in churches, under trees, at kitchen tables,